some people should not own stocks at all because they just get too upset with price fluctuations. If you're going to do dumb things because your stock goes down, you shouldn't own a stock at all. No, I mean,
What are dumb things? Selling a stock?
Yeah,
Because
Hello,
stock
everyone.
goes
Welcome
down.
to the December update to the $25,000 portfolio challenge, where we look to grow the portfolio here from $25,000 to $50,000. And in addition to it being the December update, will also be the 2022 final numbers for the year. And so we finished up the month December and the year with $25,565. And for December, this was a drop of 6.57% compared to the SPY, which dropped 6.19%. So we'll take a look at the activity for the month. And we didn't buy or sell any positions in the portfolio, and we had 2 deposits. The first deposit was on December 9th for $503.82, and the second deposit was on December 23rd for $503.85. And we did get a dividend here on the last day from Global Payments, which was $41.25. And we ended up with a margin balance at the end of the month of just $69.30. If you remember last month, this was about $1,000. And in the middle of November, at one point, the margin balance was $1,500. So the last few deposits have just been going to replenish the margin, so we're not paying any interest on that. And haven't been looking to go any further into margin. I'm going to let the market ride out a little bit and use the next few deposits to add some positions. I don't want to go into any margin to add any positions right now. So we're looking for January. I think total we'll have about $500 in deposits in January. But to find out the details of the activity, you can just visit the Patreon page. It's $10 a month, and you'll get up-to-date activity in the portfolio as it occurs. So currently, like I said, we're at $25,000. We finished up the year with $8,496 down for the year, and overall we're at $11,874 down on the year. And like I said, we didn't add to any positions, but we'll look at the charts here. And for the month of December, I ordered the stocks here from best performing to worst performing for the month of December. And the best performing stocks were the Chinese stocks, VIPS, EDU, and Baidu. And we had some good news come out of China where the possibility of the stocks being delisted from the U.S. stock exchanges, the ADRs, is pretty much going away because the regulatory agencies are being allowed to look into the books of the Chinese companies. So that was a big headwind for these Chinese listed ADRs and the risk of possibly being delisted. So that's kind of gone away for the now. They've opened up their books to the U.S. Regulators to an extent. So they performed well this month, and leading the charge in the portfolio was VIPS. It returned it was up 22% for the month. You can see here, and we'll take off this. So yeah, ended the month at 1364. Then EDU performed well in December, as well as Baidu finished up 5% in the month of December. And the only other stock in the portfolio that was positive for December was Path, which gained about a little less than 2%, pretty much flat on the month. But And the big position in the account, global payments, was down 4% on the month. And this contributes to a large percentage of the returns in the portfolio. Like I said, SPY on the month was down 6.19%, where the account was down 6.57%. And on the year, we ended the year with a 24.77% loss. And that's compared to the SPY, which ended the year at a 19.95% loss, so right at a 20% loss. And we can take a look at the comparison in a second between our account value and SPY if I would invest in money in SPY. We'll look at that in a minute. But here we look at global. And like I mentioned last month, we had earnings and we had a large drop from the earnings. And this month, looks like we retested that low. We tried to break through it. Looks like it was more of a stop hunt than anything. Poked through it and then it's reversed here. And I talked about this channel. You can see here, this channel in global goes back. Let's see. We'll look at the weekly chart. It goes back essentially to the beginning of the year, and it's continued to hold. And we move sideways here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks here. This is a weekly chart. And this 9-period moving average, it's right here on top of price, but it should start flattening out because if you look back 9 bars, we get this big bar here. And current price is above the close of this bar. So this 9-period moving average should flatten out. And if we can get above it, it will easily start curving up. It's not going to continue pressing down like it did up here. A couple of weeks ago when we were right at the 9-period moving average, it was still too soon for price to easily break through it. But now that we're removed from this large bar, we're essentially 9 weeks past this large drop, and this 9-period moving average will flatten out going forward now that it's only looking back at these prices here and it's no longer considering the high price. So this will flatten out and easily start curving up. So the channel's holding as I was hoping it would. And if you go back and look at a 5-year chart here, you can see the low from 2018 is where we're holding at right now. And it's a little bear flag. It looks like it tried to break through here. It pierced the low and it looks like it's reversing up. So we'll see how it does here in the next couple weeks. See if we can break through this 9-period and head to the 20-period and start attacking the upper end of this channel. See how it goes. If you look at the overall SPY, we're bouncing off the 200-week moving average here. And we got the 50-period weighing heavy on price. So we're kind of in a purgatory zone here, and we'll see how we break through either through the downside or upside. It wouldn't surprise me if in the beginning of 2023, if we retest these lows, it wouldn't even surprise me if we pierce through it kind of as a stop hunt, because we have a lot of people that are long here in the last couple months, going back to October. They're going to have their stops right here at the low of this low at 348.11. So there's going to be a lot of sell orders right here. And it would not surprise me to see price come back down to test 2022 lows. Might get a flush through it and then a reversal. I personally think that would be best for the market to get a nice move up, is to get the longs right now, the weak hands, get them stopped out before we make them move back higher. But we're at strong support here. Let's go back to the daily. And it's global. And then Weight Watchers pretty much flat. Like I said, haven't added to any position. Not going to go through every single one. But if we look at, let's see, also want to show you what we're looking at here. And this is the account value for 2022. I'll scroll through here real fast. And at point, if you just want to slow it down, you can look at the daily account value each day for 2022, and we're finishing up the year at $25,565. And if the money in this portfolio was just invested in SPY, we would have a balance of 29,554. SPY is currently trading, or closed out the year at 382.43. And so the difference between the account, if it was in SPY versus what it actually is, we're at just under a $4,000 deficit to what it would have been if it was in the SPY. So we'll go up here to the top. The maximum deficit we had this year was $4,972. You can see right here. And the maximum surplus we had on the year at one point was $1,700. And like I said, we got the current difference here. The current value here, what it is today versus what it would have been if the money was put into the SPY. And for the account, we've had 114 positive days compared to the SPY, which has 107 positive days. And the average gain on those 114 days was 1.93% compared to the SPY, which had an average gain of 1.32. And down days in the account was 137 compared to the SPY, which had 144. And the average down day was 1.84% compared to the SPY, which was 1.11%. And the average return, daily return, comes to a negative 0.13% for the account, and SPY has a negative daily return of negative 0.08. And the standard deviation is each day the deviation, on average, how much the return each day deviates from the average of negative 0.13. And you can see the return in the account deviates at 2.57% compared to the SPY return deviating 1.53% from its average daily return. And then when you calculate the deposits we made into the account, the compound weekly growth rate of the account is 0.56% on a weekly basis, whereas if the money was put in the SPY, it would have had a weekly compound growth rate of 0.85%. And for December, compared to SPY, we gained $102 over SPY. The portfolio outperformed SPY by $102. So clawing back on this 4,000 deficit compared to SPY. So once this market turns around and we start seeing the lows, and if what I think could happen where we make the low in the first quarter with a retest of the 2022 lows, once we get that, I think this deficit will we'll cut into that quickly, and hopefully by the second quarter of 2023 this will be positive. Just have to wait and see. You never truly really know what's going to happen, but I feel confident in the portfolio, and the major position carrying the portfolio is Global Payments, and I think we're going to do pretty good in 2023 with it. And if you look at the chart for 2022, the portfolio versus the SPY returns, the blue line is the portfolio returns, and the orange line is if it was invested in SPY. And like I said, I went over in last month this where it begins to deviate. And this was Global's October earnings, October 31st earnings announcement. It had a good little drop after that announcement earnings, but and that's, I believe, where we had the max deficit to the SPY was right here on this date. And we're over the last couple months, we've clawed back $1,000 from where it was in early November. So we're starting to close the gap. Let's look at the account first. SPY. And that pretty much wraps up the December update. Just a recap, December, the count was down 6.57%, and the SPY was down 6.19% on the month. And for the year, the account is down 24.77% compared to the SPY being down 19.95%. And so if you want to keep up to date with all the activity in the account, check out the Patreon. There's a link in the description to that. It's $10 a month. Any activity in the account will be updated there as it happens, so you won't have to wait for the end of month update to take a look at what happened in the account. If you're looking to follow along, replicate it, or copy it, check us out at Patreon. And hopefully you had a good 2022, and we look forward to getting this account to $50,000 sooner rather than later, and keep up to date with us in 2023. If you like what you're seeing here in the YouTube video, like, subscribe. That lets me know that you're interested in following along and keeping up, and I'll keep doing these updates. So we look forward to a good 2023.